How we doing? I am your host, Robert T. Gardner Jr., also known as Dr. Rob. Welcome to Station BOB, and let me tell you a little about thee. I am a kid from a Harlem hood who turned out good. I got educated like I should. Now I know how to help you grow to become the best of your being in life, love, and work. With that said, I am here to provide you with some clarity associated with the perplexity of the challenges in your life, love, and work. So, without further ado, let's get down on it. Enjoy the show. Yes. How we doing? Welcome once again, my friend, to Station BOB, where you listen to learn how to become the best of your being in life, love, and work. And of course, I am your host, Dr. Rob. What's going on? I know it has been a minute since I've been on the podcast mic, but I'm back again, my friend, with hopefully a very interesting topic to share with you. But before I do that, let me just ask, can it be I stayed away too long? Did I leave your mind while I was gone? Ow, you feel that? Can you feel that? Yeah, I just borrowed that from Michael Jackson. So, anywho, let me just get down on it and jump right in this topic. And today's topic, and I want to thank you anyway for being with me. I'm sorry, I don't mean to just switch up on you like that, but just want to say thank you for being with me again today, because it's been a while since I've been on the podcast mic, but nevertheless, I'm here. And so today's topic, I want to know, is there any event or circumstance or something or that someone can do to you that a mere apology cannot fix? Like, in other words, can something happen to you which was caused by another person, and if they apologize that, sorry, just not enough, sometimes sorry, just not enough. And so today I wanted to address this topic in connection with the abusive beating many of us witnessed several months ago regarding Sean Puffy Combs and the way he physically abused his former girlfriend, which was, the video for me was first seen on CNN, and then I'm sure after that the video went viral, and hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. And before I go any further, let me just start by saying that this podcast is not about Sean Puffy Combs, but more about the way his ex-girlfriend was beat by him, and then he apologized several days or several weeks later. So my question for you, this is not about Sean Puffy Combs again. My question for you is, for an incident like that or something just as egregious or outrageous or whatever you or any man or woman would see as something so glaringly outrageous like the abuse we saw in that video, is an apology acceptable to you for to be violated in such a way? I just want to know, can an apology fix that for you? Or in other words, let me say, when is sorry just not enough? As I, mentioned, Puffy did apologize to this woman, but does that mean anything when we as a person or people are grossly mistreated? In the case of this unmerciful, beating. Now, of course, under normal circumstances in our everyday lives, things happen, good and bad, and the people who are friends, family and co-workers and strangers on the street. Something happens. Typically people apologize, and that is, the social construct, if you will, for trying to bring an immediate, healing resolution to a particular circumstance, okay? But that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is similar to what we witnessed in that video that I spoke on. And so what if something like that happened to you? Or has something like that already happened to you, where you have been able, and have you been able to accept the apology of the person who may have perpetrated you or violated you in such an unbelievable fashion? And let me add that I also understand that forgiveness is very important, or is a very important element, to the life we live. I get that. I mean, myself, I came to forgive, my ex-wife for some of the, insane, crazy things that she committed against me over the years, during and after our marriage. I mean, that was some time ago, but it did happen. And this is not to, speak negatively of her. This is just my life experience, my reality, my truth. But anywho, I forgave her, and doing that, the idea for my first book, The Choices We Make, was born. So I know firsthand that there is power in, forgiving another person. There's no question about it. However, right here and right now, I am not talking about forgiveness. I am talking about accepting an apology from a person who has violated you to the outer limits and beyond of being violated. Like, whoa. And an apology and forgiveness, for the record, are two different things. It is one thing to even think about accepting an apology, because an apology is a brief moment in time that a person will or can apologize, but your pain from their actions could last a lifetime in terms of, the hurt, or how the hurtful or painful memories. Yeah. You feel me? And for the record, you're paying for a particular violation with or without an apology will last as long as you allow it to last. I just wanted to point that out too. And so what do I mean when I say that? Essentially, in forgiveness, one has decided to totally, this is just my spin on it, let go, even though letting go and forgiveness is two different things, but I'm going to just mash them together for the purposes of this discussion. So as I said, in forgiveness, one has decided to totally let go and move on with their lives, and perhaps turning their pain into purpose, which would be the best thing to do in this particular case. But we are not there yet in this discussion. Because for some of us, and you know who you are, there are things that have been done to you that an apology may not be, fix it. I have been there myself. And in many cases, we have not yet progressed to the level of forgiveness. So let's turn our attention back to the question related to an apology, because that is what we are talking about here. Now, do you believe, or do you feel that there are some things that saying sorry by someone that just cannot erase what they did or the pain you experienced that was perpetrated against you by another person? Now, for me, I'm of the mind that there are some things that an apology, cannot ascend to the level that would be enough to make one feel better after, being violated, just to the outer limits of a violation. But, BUT, In terms of what we know to be the right thing to do in any situation where we have wronged or violated another, an apology is the standard way for one to first show some remorse and perhaps a step towards some kind of acknowledgement of what they did, to you to say that, hey, it was wrong. And now they are feeling bad, feeling embarrassed, feeling silly, and probably regretting what they did. And so now they want to let you know they are sorry for what they did. Then what next for the person who has been violated? That question may raise the issue as to whether or not saying sorry and forgiveness fall within the same purview. And to that, I say no. Hell to the no. Saying sorry simply means that I am sorry for what I did to you in that moment. And forgiveness has to do with how deep the pain is for the person who is hurt in whatever way that would cause them to have to consider forgiving a person who has perpetrated a transgression in their respective life. So, what say you? Are you able to accept an apology from the person who violated you in some form or fashion similar to what happened to the woman in the Diddy case of domestic violence? Is there anything to you that sorry cannot fix? I ask that question while at the same time I, as Dr. Rob, I'm about the healing process. That is what this podcast is about. After all, like I said, this is the driving force behind the topics I discuss on this podcast. Yet, I am also trying to keep it 100 by stating that there may be some things sorry cannot fix, and we should be mindful of that. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to forgiveness for the crazy things that we do to each other, as much as an apology may not help all things, forgiveness is something different and something we should all consider no matter what we have experienced. And even for the woman who was the victim of that brutal, unmerciful beating perpetrated against her, yes, she too, I hope, can forgive him. And on that note, I'm going to step aside and I'm going to let a little jokey joke in just to lighten up the moment before we close out this podcast. I always like to lighten up the discussion with a corny dad joke, if you will. Now, me, Dr. Rob, I've always been a funny guy. I am not corny, but I will do a corny dad joke. Okay, so let me run this by you. Let me know what you think. Okay, so here we go. Why did the tomato blush? Because it saw the salad dressing. What you say to that? I feel you. That was funny. I agree. So with that said, let's jump right back into the discussion and talk about, we're talking about an apology versus forgiveness right now. And so to continue on with the discussion, you see, with forgiveness, and I know this from my own experience, and research shows this as well, that it frees you up from the person and the pain, that person or that experience caused. When we hold on to the pain and anger that we feel towards the person who has trespassed against us, it in so many ways does nothing to help us. Instead, it hurts us. It helps us to continue to hurt, wallow perhaps in our anger and compels us to keep looking back at what that person did. However, when we forgive, we free ourselves from the past and the pain. As I said previously, I forgave the ex, and it has led to so many blessings and opportunities for me. So accepting an apology, I don't know if that will fix everything, okay? But forgiveness, that's just a different road. You see, forgiveness and learning to let go, it has to become a part of your repertoire, because these are essentially emotional survival tools for us to be able to move on with our lives in a healthy and wholesome way. And with that said, I'm going to leave it right there. Forgiveness. Maybe not an apology being accepted in every instance, but forgiveness is the way to go. And I'm going to leave it right there, as I said, with the hope that we can all learn to forgive and let go of the painful memories of the people and the past when those painful experiences actually happen. So you may not have to accept that apology when it happens, but it is strongly recommended that you do learn to let go and forgive those who have trespassed against you. And so, my friend, I promise I won't stay away too long the next time. But until we meet again, my friend, remember, life is good even when it ain't. And love is an action, not a word, and it is not supposed to hurt. Peace in the Middle East and Ukraine too. As we wrap up this show, I hope this topic helped you to grow. And now you know a little bit more than you knew before. If you have any questions about this topic, please email me at changeagentrtg@gmail.com. See my website, relationshipreadiness.org, to learn more about my counseling, consulting, and educational programs related to life, love, and work. Finally, in the words of the late, great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., if I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody he is traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. Until we meet again, do the right thing when nobody is looking. Peace, beloved.